Hello, my name's Guy and I work for Weld Australia, a not-for-profit membership-based organisation and the peak industry body for welding in Australia. We work with industry, government and a range of other sectors including education, vet and corrections. At Weld Australia, we want to ensure that Australia has a strong welding industry and we want to keep welding and fabrication work in the country. In order to do this, we need people trained and working in our industry. Lots of people. To help with this, we've developed a set of national MEM teaching and learning resources. The nation's learners are working towards a national qualification, so consistently applied, national teaching and learning resources are a very large step in helping to provide these to learners. So, no matter where in the country a learner is based, they can access the same engaging quality training resources. Right away, one of the first things you may be asking yourself is, what's in this for me? After all, you may have resources that you're already comfortable with and meet your current needs. But what do you do about the costs and time associated with developing and ongoing maintenance of those resources? Staff workload. How do you and your staff manage the time constraints imposed by course development, administrative duties, marking, resulting and so on, and the actual teaching itself? We also need to consider learner engagement, which, despite our best efforts, may not always be as we would prefer. As we go through this presentation, we want to show you how we can provide solutions to some of these issues.
To begin with, when you open the resource, the first thing you're going to notice is a short introductory video. This video will provide an overview of the specific unit, and then following the video you'll see 4 tabs: presentations, written resources, assessments and support and forum. Let's select each tab in turn and view the content. If we select the presentations tab, we have things like theory presentations, practical content and the soldermatic content. In the written resources tab, we have student notes, safety notes, practical workbook and a glossary of terms. In the assessments tab, we've got multiple choice, short answer and practical assessment selections. Finally, in the support and forums tab, we've got a support and forum tab. Let's have a look at these in a little bit more detail.
As we go through this section, keep in mind that staff can use this material in face-to-face, distance or blended delivery formats. The learning content has been designed with these modes of delivery in mind, and we're happy to assist and support you with this. The theory presentations follow the same format across all units, and we do this for consistency. If your learners are enrolled in more than one unit, for example, it will save them some time, as they'll know where things are and makes navigating the units a little easier for them. Each of the sections has a video learners will need to watch, followed by some short explanatory content and then a few multiple choice questions. Don't worry, these aren't graded. They're just there to help cement new concepts or ideas in your learner's mind. We also have a selection of practical demonstrations relevant to the specific unit. We use WPSs repeatedly throughout this learning material, and we do this to help normalise their use for learners. Finally, we have the soldermatic content. Soldermatics are augmented reality welding machines designed to give instant feedback on essential welding factors like travel speed and angles. They provide a safe, controlled environment where learners can concentrate on refining their technique without dangerous hazards or wasted materials. If you use the soldermatic machines at your location, then this content includes demonstrations of each weld in the practical workbook. If you don't use soldermatic machines and would like to know more about them, let us know and we'll provide you with some more information.
Whether your learners are in the classroom or out of town, they can scroll through these student notes, the safety notes, or any of the material for that matter, at their leisure. There is also no requirement to print these notes off for your students, though you still can if you wish. That should save you a few pennies too, and time. We've purposely written this material in level appropriate language and have also included many high quality images. The content is fully compliant and is endorsed by industry. Combined, these make for an easier, more interesting and relevant read for the learner. We've also embedded into the notes a series of QR codes. These QR codes allow the learners to review the various video resources and demonstrations they've already seen as often as they wish and from any location. This could be on the bus, on the way to school, in the welding bay itself, or even at work. It's also worth remembering that all of the content, videos, notes, workbooks and so on in this unit is accessible 24/7. There's even an app for your phone or tablet. The practical workbook provides learners a set of step-by-step instructions on how to carry out a specific type of weld. Whilst learners can go it alone, the intention really here is for staff to guide them through the practical activities. Each welding task in the workbook has an associated QR code that links back to the video about that weld. If the learner needs to see the demonstration again and the staff member's busy helping another student, then the QR code will link them directly to that video demonstration. There's also an assessment criteria checklist with instructions on how to produce that weld and what they're going to get graded on. Learners are encouraged to take a photograph of their weld, which they will later need for feedback. To help get the learner started, an example of how to fill in the workbook is also provided.
Assessments, every learner's favourite part. The theory quiz and exam are multiple choice assessments and are auto-graded by the system. This auto-grading provides near instant feedback to learners so they have an opportunity to improve. The answers and order of each question is randomised from a bank of questions. This ensures that no two learners will have the same test. Additionally, staff do not have to take time out of their day to mark these assessments, which will save a lot of time. We also have short answer questions for those jurisdictions that prefer this option instead of multiple choice. We spoke earlier about the practical workbook where learners produced their own welds and recorded their work in a practical workbook. For the practical assessment, students will produce the specific welds identified in a copy of the earlier practical workbook. This workbook copy is very similar to the version they have already used, but has the QR codes removed. Through the app, students will submit a photo of these welds for manual assessment and feedback. Support and forums. We try to catch everything, but now and again we miss something. By selecting the support icon, the following prompts can tell us about what we missed: spelling errors, bugs in the system, or other issues you may have experienced with the unit. There's nothing worse than providing feedback to us and not knowing what has become of it. And so, each quarter we release a newsletter updating, amongst other things, the status of various updates that users have submitted to us. In the Forums tab, staff can also post general comments or questions for learners, perhaps a reminder of an upcoming activity or assessment or a clarifying point from an earlier lecture, that sort of thing. Learners can also talk with others in their class or cohort. It's a good place also for learners to share their experiences. Finally, all teachers and managers are by default enrolled into Teacher and Institute resources. Learners do not have access to this information, and in fact will not even see this tab when they log into the unit. This resource unit includes all the mapping documents for your unit, as well as the exam questions with answers, a TAS guide and documents and other related documents.
One last thing to keep in mind, these MEM resources are ready to go the moment you gain access. There's no ongoing development or maintenance costs for you. Every time there's a unit update or if it's superseded, you get access to the latest version by default. Well, that's about everything, and we'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video outlining our MEM resource. If you've got any questions, please get in touch, as we'd be very happy to chat with you about your needs.